Well, today I'm excited for our guest. We're talking with actor and storyteller Sean Kanan. It's been, I think, almost since 2020 when we saw him last. And man, he's been busy. A lot of things have been happening. Obviously, Cobra Kai is in the height of its popularity right now. And you've, of course, made appearances. And we have season six coming. You've got all your other shows too that you do, The Bold and the Beautiful, Young and the Restless. And of course, I think the last time we talked about Studio City. But thanks again, man. It's great to see you, and thanks for hanging out today.
It's my pleasure, man. I can't believe it's been 4 years.
I know it's been a long
Huh?
time. Life happens. You've been
Yeah.
busy. So let's just start out with the fact that, when my 9-year-old found out I was interviewing you, he about had a meltdown. He's like, "You're talking to Mike Barnes?" I was like, "Well, his name is Sean, but yes." Basically, um, how crazy is it to just think about the fact that this franchise has lasted as long as it has? And with this, what started out as a YouTube series has now become a global phenomenon. It's just massive.
Um, you know, to be a part of something that is arguably part of the cinematic tapestry, of film. You've got Rocky, you've got Karate Kid, you've got certain things that are cross generational that have lasted all of these years. I'm just humbled by it. I mean, I've said this before. It's not very often in an actor's career when you get to revisit a role from multiple decades ago and have another bite at the apple to portray that character. And it's so great that the characters that Robert Mark Kamen created have been introduced to an entirely new generation now. And so many people love Cobra Kai that are our age from the nostalgic value because they remember it when they were growing up. And then there's this whole new generation of kids that they're like, oh, wait a minute, these characters came from a movie. Let's check the movie out, because they love the show on its own with the younger generation of kids.
Yes. Well, one of the rules, I wouldn't say rules, but one of the things that it's important for me and my son is if there's a story, obviously, that has a book, I want him to read the books first before we go see a film so he
Really
can,
good. That's so good.
yeah,
You do that. I'm actually right now. I'm a huge fan of Logan's Run.
yes.
And as a side note, Carolyn Hennessy, who's in Studio City, her father Dale Hennessy is the Academy Award winning art director of Logan's Run. So I don't know why, but like about 2 weeks ago, I was like, I want to read the book Logan's Run because it's supposed to be very different than the movie, and I'm a huge fan of the movie. So I'm doing that pretty much for the first time that I'm reading a book where I saw the other material first. But I think that's great that you do that with your son. I mean, first of
Yes.
all, encouraging him to read is good, period, because we live in a society now where so many people are getting their information from the internet, and it's oftentimes condensed from the original source material, and I think it's really good that you're doing that, and I think it also instigates critical thinking. When you compare the book to what they see later in a film.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was the intent behind the Cobra Kai series, having him watch the films, all three of them. I think there's the one with Hilary Swank. So the whole thing, because I think at first he had seen the Jaden Smith vehicle originally, and then I was like, well, we need to go back and watch these. We watched yours, and now we're able to enjoy this Cobra Kai run. And it's crazy to think, 6 seasons plus it's broken up into little parts, and then there's another film coming. It's crazy, like just to think about this whole thing. So congratulations on that. And of course, you have the book, which I have read, which I think is so good. It's helped me in a lot of different ways as well, just in my life and making decisions about how I want to take this piece of art that I've created with this show.
You're
So
like,
thank you for that as well.
thank you. You're talking about Way of the Cobra?
Way of the Cobra, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
If you get a chance, please read the sequel, which is Welcome to the Kumite,
Okay.
and I think you'll really enjoy that. And Way of the Cobra is now available on Audible, I narrate it. And so I think people really enjoy that. But yeah, it's really it's rewarding. I hear from people all over the world almost every day, how they've read the book and they've put the strategies and philosophy into action, and they've seen, a paradigm shift in their life. And I always tell people that my job is to be the messenger. Most of the information in the book, humans know intuitively. We know it inside of ourselves. Maybe you haven't discovered it yet, or maybe you've forgotten it. But it's not my information; it's the universe's, because it's true. I'm just a guy
Yeah.
maybe repackaging it and presenting it to you in a slightly different way that hopefully will resonate.
Well, one of the things I think is cool, Sean, is that you're able to take this character in which you played and have continued to play in this Cobra Kai series and so on, and to able to switch it over into a book form, because it's not just, hey, I played this character that was wildly popular in a specific vacuum of time, but you've taken it and switched it over and all those principles and built upon it, and it's now helps with everything else that you're doing. I think that's the coolest thing, to be able to do that. Um, was that something that you'd always wanted to do since you had played the character, or was it as of recent years where you started thinking
Well,
about writing?
I had started writing a motivational self-help inspirational book probably about 7 years ago.
Okay.
And when Cobra Kai started to become the juggernaut that it is and became, popular throughout the world, I sort of had a frank conversation with myself, and I said, I can write the book in its current incarnation, and it'll have great information, and a few people will see it, or I can piggyback onto this, worldwide, you know, movement of which I have a small part, and key into that and have a much greater audience take a look at it. And so I basically just repackaged a lot of what I had already written, and of course added some new stuff. And it turned out to be a really good decision. And Cobra is an acronym. It's formed from the words character, optimization, balance, respect, and abundance. And once I made the decision to do that, it really started to write itself.
So cool. It's badass, literally. Yeah, my kid will hear that, whatever. He's heard worse. We were, I think we were texting over the weekend, and we were
Yeah.
up at Fan Expo in Denver, and he was able to see other characters. 2 years ago, they had pretty much everybody from Cobra Kai there, which was cool for him. He met Martin Cove. He was very kind. We did a quick interview with him. But my son, it's interesting. I'm like so excited, and he's like completely unjaded by the presence of these people. Except Rainn Wilson. Or Adam Savage, sorry. He about had a meltdown with Adam. But it's
Yeah.
cool. This is a great opportunity for you. It's awesome. Couple more questions here. I was looking at your filmography, and also I'll note Kanan.actor is your website where people can go. You do coaching, you
Yeah.
get people, which I think is very cool. You help people out in this industry, perhaps maybe because you didn't have that help. You just probably figured it out, I imagine, when you came to LA.
Well, I mean, I figured some things out, but it was a lot of trial by air and baptism by fire. And for me, I want to be able to inspire people. And I think initially I thought that acting was the only conduit for me to do that. And as I've gotten older, I've realized that I can do it with my writing, I can do it with my coaching, my motivational speaking. So I'm every bit as impassioned about my coaching and speaking as I am about my acting. I just signed on to do a TEDx talk in October in
Wow,
Dallas. I'm really excited about.
that's
Um,
cool.
yeah, and I just for me, I like to do different things. I like to kind of have my finger in a lot of different pies because I think that they all satisfy different things. I like to write, but writing is very monastic. It's a very singular thing where you're by yourself. I like to perform because you get that interaction and reciprocity with an audience. And I really like the coaching and the speaking because even if you just affect that one person, if you make their life or teach them to make their life better, it is beyond rewarding. I can't tell you. I mean, I've worked with people that have, they've got significant issues and obstacles and frustrations. And sometimes it just takes somebody with an external perspective to help them identify it and just give them a little bit of a tweak. And it makes a huge change in their life. And it's really rewarding.
Absolutely. I mean, I was going through your website. I mean, even the acting coaching classes, uh, all of that stuff. I mean, if I was new in this business and had just a tiny bit experience, I think what you're doing would be so appealing and affordable too, because it's like, you've done it, you've proven it, you've played Deacon. How long have you played Deacon Sharp? Good grief, you've been playing that character for a
Next,
long time.
next year will be 25 years.
Wow.
And I have a unique perspective. I'm an Emmy-winning producer from Studio City, so I work behind the camera as well as in front of the camera, and it offers me a different perspective than someone I think who's just an actor. I love teaching acting. I love working with young actors, and I talk a lot about acting technique as well as the business of acting because you really have to understand how they work in tandem because it is a business.
Yeah, I've heard that from so many of your peers. Like there's this delusion, I think, of you just go to LA, so to speak, and you want to be an actor and this, that, and the other. But the other piece of advice I hear all the time is learn how to work as an extra, maybe, or learn how to do this or do that so you can
I think
do multiple things.
be a producer. And that doesn't mean that you have to go out and produce a movie, but you know you have to be a producer of content to get people to see you. And when I was starting, they used to always say, well, do you have any tape? Meaning, have you done something that we can watch a visual representation of your acting? And now with people having smartphones, like there's no excuse for not
Right.
getting friends together, learning a scene, shooting it, putting it up, learning a monologue, putting it up there. That was something that we didn't have the opportunity to do when I was first starting out. And I think if actors learn how to think like the people that hire them, it increases their odds of getting hired.
Yeah, I think that's very true. Um, and I love what you just said with the age of technology that we have and cell phones, TikTok. I mean, there is really no reason to not put something out there, right? I mean, you could learn scripts, you could do monologues. Heck, you could even do some of your monologues from Cobra or from Karate Kid. I mean, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no reason not to because it's the world of information and technology is limitless, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So if
Well,
I mean, I love coaching acting. If anyone is interested in working with me, you can reach out to me at seankanan.actor. And my other website is waythecobra.com. And yeah, I make myself very accessible to people because I
you
like
do.
people. And you know, with very few exceptions, this has worked out well for me, this strategy.
Well, I would say we've built a good relationship out of it.
Yeah.
It's great. I mean, you're very trustworthy, you're very open. And I feel like you also only do the things that you want to do that you feel are important to you, right?
I'm fortunate that I'm at a point in my career when I can be a little more selective, which is a real luxury as an actor because most actors spend more time looking for work than actually working. Um, and what's funny, and this is something I teach people in my coaching. If you stay in the process, okay, if you want results, ignore results. Stay in the process. Create a bulletproof process for anything that you want to do. I'll give you an example. We have a few more minutes.
Yeah, we're
So,
good.
okay. So I'm going to guess that you and I drive a car 99.5% the exact same way. You unlock your car, you sit down, you put the safety belt on. You put something in the nav if you need it. You check your mirrors, throw it in reverse, check, throw it and drive, obey the street signs, obey the speed limit, and you expect to get to your destination, right? You don't drive like this going, oh my God, I hope I make it. I hope I make it. The reason is you've built a bulletproof process for driving a car. You know exactly how to do it. You know that if I don't drink and drive, if I don't text while I'm driving, and with the unlikely possibility of something happening like an accident, I'm going to get to my destination, right? If you can do that with everything else, people ask me all the time, how do you learn so many lines Bold and the Beautiful? Sometimes I learn 35 pages a day because I have a bulletproof process that over the years I've created. So I don't worry that the night before I shoot, I don't know all my lines because part of my process doesn't crystallize until I get to the studio that day, have a chance to rub my lines with the other actors, and that finalizes my process. But if I didn't have that process, the night before, when I don't know all my lines like the back of my hand, I could freak out, right? So if you create a bulletproof process with anything and apply it effectively and consistently, you
Mhm.
don't need to worry about the results. This has to do with weight loss. It has to do with your job, how you interact with your loved ones, anything. And it's amazing how the results sometimes don't come exactly when you want or look 100% like you anticipate them. But over the overarching span of time, when you apply that bulletproof process, you will get positive results.
I love it. That is fantastic. Well, congratulations on all your success. You have a lot of things that you're working on. Season 6 of Cobra Kai, part one, July 18th. Are you excited? I mean, I
I'm
saw you
really
post something on Instagram with you and all the villains from Cobra Kai. That was so cool.
yeah, yeah. We went out for sushi down in Atlanta after we had wrapped, and they're great guys. Yuji Okamoto, who plays Chosen, and Billy Zabka, just phenomenal guys. And I'm really lucky to have the chance to know them as friends and work with them. I'm really excited. Still working hard on Bold and the Beautiful. I have my new book, which I'm co-authoring with my wife, called Cobra Couples, which is going to be coming out late this summer. And gosh, I've got a couple other projects that are going to be starting. I'm coming to the UK, which I'm really excited about to come see all the fans. I'll be in the UK in September, and I'm doing a TED Talk October 27th in Dallas. So I'm keeping busy, man.
I love it. When people see all of you show up at a sushi restaurant, I mean, it's like a multiverse. People have to freak out, I'm sure, when they see every one of you
Yeah,
roll in there. I mean, it
it's
has to
kind
be
of funny.
like,
My God, the bad guys all hang out together. That's why I think I posted something like it's the annual villains meeting of the Cobra Kai. Yeah. So, but yeah, we definitely got some strange looks.
I love it. Well, Sean, thank you so much for your time as
Thank you.
always. I appreciate you. Let's not wait another 4 years. I would love to have you back at some point. Um, the last time was a pure joy, and at this time as well. Sean, thank you so
Brett,
much. I appreciate
okay,
it.
pal, take care of yourself.
You
All
too.
right.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.